Matt, Tom Peregoodoff, Apollo Silver. I'm president and CEO, and we're a U.S. focused silver developer, advancing the Calico Silver Project in California.
You are indeed. Good to see you again, Tom. So the press release, you put some holes out, assays back. What does it tell you?
Well, what this really does is a couple of things it does for us. Number one, let's acknowledge these are the first assays that have ever really been put into the market on the Waterloo deposit. It provides absolute confirmation of the nature of the mineralization. We've got thick, high-grade intersections. And really what it does is it absolutely gives us that confidence now. Bring that second rig in and start to see if we can fast-track the additional drill program we've got planned. And try and move forward that revised resource declaration and PEA that we have planned for later in this year.
It's interesting timing, right? The markets are going a little bit funny at the moment, right? So precious metals across the board. If you look at the NASDAQ, it's pretty horrific down there. How much confidence did this need to give you to bring that second rig in? Because it kind of feels like hunker down time. So, but you're saying, no, we're going to bring a second rig in. So how
look at, Matt, I hear you. I think that, I can only control the things I can control. And so I'm really going to focus on the future of the project and advancing that project. I think that, there is a lot of volatility in the market. Everybody has to acknowledge that. But those projects that are based on sound fundamentals are really going to be well placed when this volatility, I think, starts to level out and people can see beyond it.
Right. Okay. So brilliant. So second rig comes on. What do you then do? That obviously ramps things up a bit. But again, as a retail investor, what am I looking forward to you coming back to me next with?
Sure. Well, look, as you're going to start to see a continuous news flow of assays from us. We've got another 322 samples from the first two holes that we drilled are now in the queue in the lab, and we're doing regular dispatches now to the lab, so you can expect to see that. Remember, these three holes were this work we've announced is part of our metallurgical program, and that MET program results are proceeding. We've made some slight modifications to that just to put in some testing on a barite gravity set type addition to a potential flow sheet. So we expect to see some of the results of that MET work coming out late second quarter, third quarter of the calendar year.
Right. Okay. So how much more work needs to be done in this MET work program of yours? It's fully funded, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look at we inherited about 2.5 tons of material split up between RC and diamond core drilling from Pan American that was sitting at McClellan Labs. So we've got the material that we need to get the phase 1 MET work underway. And phase 2 we'll build on the back of these phase 1 results.
Right. Okay. And with regards to the study component, again, you've talked about kind of expediting matters and actually being able to put out statements of around the economics, or albeit a PEA. Is that what this project needs after kind of not a lot coming out of the previous owner? Do you feel you're sort of suffering, or are you slightly on the back foot, or is it just, well, this is how we've done it in the past, and that seemed to work. We're going to crack on that way.
No, look, I think it's a couple of things. As far as us being on the quote unquote back foot, and you and I have discussed this before. Most projects that you are going to be familiar with go through a cycle where we announce 3 holes like this. Next week, we announce another 3 holes, and we build the resource up, and there's a familiarity built up in the market. We went from July of nothing to bang, here's 166 million ounces of silver, caught people on the back foot a little bit. These sorts of numbers then really start to add some confidence in those numbers. I think that's important to realize. And then as far as the preliminary economic assessment is concerned, I think the most important thing that is going to come out of that is a visual. We need to give investors a visual of what this thing looks like, because most people aren't familiar with these quote unquote bulk mineable disseminated style silver resources. There's Rochester that is a core operation, but there's not as many of those. People are more familiar with those typical Mexican epithermal precious metal systems that you see, which are more structurally controlled, more complicated, and contain a lot of more geological risk, albeit the benefit that you get is grades in excess of 1,000 or 2,000 gram per ton over much narrower widths than we're looking at.
Okay. Well, that's all I wanted to catch up about. Just to see, what the plan is, right? It's always like companies put out these press releases, and I go, okay, and so what? So nice numbers, but it sounds like you've made the decision to not hunker down and actually get on with the business of building the company. So stay in touch and let us know how things get on. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, it was good speaking with you, Matt. Look forward to the next time.